Visitor. The following incident occurred last Sunday. I was in my study typing an email for work when I fancied I heard a noise coming from my kitchen. I disregarded it. The house in which I live is old and strange noises were not uncommon. Not 5 minutes later, I heard the noise again. It was a clicking of some sort. I broke out into a cold sweat. It was the sound of my back door unlocking. I opened my desk, pulled out my revolver, and closed the drawer. I stood up and quietly made my way to the door of my study. I carefully opened the door and stepped into the hall. Darkness greeted me, thick and awful, a shroud hiding whoever was lurking in my house. Then again, the darkness was my protector as well. Knowing my house like the back of my hand, I didn't bother turning on the lights. If someone truly was here, I wanted to get a jump on them. I moved down the hall as silently as possible and listened as hard as I could. Silence. Could I have been imagining things? As I mused over these points, a soft padding played its way from the direction of my kitchen to the other side of the house. No shoes or boots could make such a stealthy noise. Had the intruder removed his shoes before entering? The steps sounded lighter than a grown man's. They sounded like a child's footsteps, or those of a large dog. At this point, I decided to call out. "Hello?" I blowed loudly, the volume of my voice causing me to recoil. "Get a hold of yourself, man," I whispered to myself. I yelled out again. "I am armed, and the police are on their way." Stupid me. Why hadn't I called the police when I was in the study? I made my way to the kitchen, entered slowly, and saw that I was very much alone. Everything seemed to be in its place, yet when I turned the lights on, I had to choke down a scream. The back door I had double locked for the night, only 2 hours before, lay wide open. Adding to the horror, I discovered 2 sets of a small, muddy, barefoot prints leading to the stairs. I closed the door quietly. Who the fuck is in my house? I thought, my mind beginning to race. And how did they undo the locks? I decided I would follow the footprints, and a new sound impressed itself upon my ears. The sound of muffled conversation came from above. Whoever was in my house had made their way to the upstairs bedroom. I steeled my nerves and swallowed the lump in my throat. This was my house. Whoever was whispering in my bedroom was invading my privacy and threatening my safety. I had to deal with it. I made to the bottom of the steps, switched on the light, and yelled, "Show yourself!" Weighted silence greeted me. "I have a gun and I will use it! Surrender yourself!" My adrenaline began to pump, and no longer cautious, I took the stairs, 2 by 2, slammed open my bedroom door, and leveled the gun at nothing. My large bedroom, the only room in the 2nd floor, was entirely empty. I looked at the floor, found the same footprints that were in the kitchen, only they stopped in the middle of the room. My blood ran cold. I checked the closet and under the bed, but there was no one to be seen. Was I going mad? I made my way back into the hall when the door suddenly slammed closed behind me. I shouted in terror and bounced back down the stairs, through the kitchen and into my study. I slammed the door and locked it tight. I collapsed in my chair and passed out. Footsteps. I awoke just in time to hear them pat their way down the stairs, across the kitchen, and, to my horror, stop outside my study door. Locks seemed powerless to stop these entities, and I waited for the knob to turn. Instead, I heard something that chilled my blood. A voice whispering in the halls. A horrible voice belonging to someone no longer alive. My heart pounded, my blood froze in my veins. My lips moved and my throat uttered a gibbering mess. The doorknob began to turn, the locks disengaging as if by magic. The door creaked open slowly. Nothing. Emptiness. Darkness. I feared I had gone truly mad. Then again, the sounds of footsteps, but this time going away from my study. The back door opened and closed, leaving me in deafening silence. After what seemed like an eternity, I stood and shakily made my way to the kitchen. The light was still on, and nothing seemed out of order. The back door was closed, and I could see that the lock was again engaged. Looking around, I noticed a piece of paper on the table. I moved closer, picked up the note, and began to laugh horribly. It read, "Sorry, wrong house.